So you want to do some awesome upgrades to your home, but you don't know what to do. And you might be thinking, what upgrades might I put in my home that will actually cost me money when I go to sell your home? Now, that is what we're going to talk about today. Jeremy Knight, the Night Group, your favorite Austin realtor. I can't tell you how many times I've sold homes and I've gone into a client's home and I look at some of the upgrades they've done and I'm like, oh no, this is going to cost us money. So today we're going to talk about some of the things that you can do that will save you money. And look, the last one on this list is like really important because it sounds like it's going to make you money and it doesn't. My job as your real estate agent is to actually help you make money when you sell your home and thinking, what are the most cost-effective upgrades I can put in my home? Here's what we're gonna talk about. Okay, let's start with over personalization. And this can be quite a few things from wall colors to going crazy styles on countertops, the crazy styles on cabinets, things like that. If you over personalize too much and make it your taste, you can run into quite a few problems. Over personalization updates like neon walls, custom murals, or funky fixtures make it harder for buyers to picture themselves living in your home. Buyers need a blank slate, a space where they can envision their own lives, not yours. So the big problem here is that when clients look at these big things that you've done in your home, they mentally start subtracting the cost of those that they're going to actually have to replace themselves because it's not their actual style. In fact, I have a client right now. They painted a living room one color, a kitchen another color. The house had sat on the market for 120 days with another realtor. I came in and said, look, we got to neutralize these walls and we got to clean up some of these things. And this is where they end up having to spend another $3,000 correcting their fun project that they did. So just know that if you go crazy and spend crazy money updating and over personalizing, you might not enjoy it. Next on my list is solar panels. Now in Texas, solar panels don't really add as much value as you think. In fact, a lot of times I have clients who will go through and they'll spend $30,000, $40,000 on solar panels, not expecting to sell their home, and then they absolutely get zero of that money back. In fact, it costs them money to sell that home. Now, the thinking is, okay, I'm gonna put in solar panels so the potential buyer, next buyer will want that solar or that savings, right? So it's gonna save me X amount of dollars, and then you do the spreadsheets and like over this amount of time, it's going to save money, right? Most buyers don't care about the things they can't see on a continual basis, right? So buyers care about the things inside the home, the upgrades on the inside, the kitchen, the living room, things like that. They don't really think about the cost savings. Now you think they would, but they don't. And so here's what happens. You go get yourself into a one of two things. You either go out and pay for the solar panels completely off, or you put them into a lease, right? The problem is that lease, sometimes that next buyer may not want to extend that lease and actually take on that lease for the solar panels. So you're stuck having to transfer that lease, which can hugely complicate a transaction, or you're gonna have to pay off those solar panels at closing, basically taking away all the equity that you would have had in your home. What do you think? Do solar panels add value or do they not add value? I tell you, anytime a client of mine, past client, reaches out and goes, Jeremy, we're gonna put on solar panels, I tell them, don't do it, especially if you're gonna be selling your home in the next couple of years. We just had a deal fall apart over solar panels because the sellers put $40,000 of their solar panels in and it did not add the value they thought it would. And they ended up not being able to sell because they had no equity with putting in these solar panels. So talk with a local professional before you do solar panels. Okay, putting in a pool. Everybody wants to have a pool in their backyard, especially in states that have really hot climates. Austin is no exception, and many other markets as well. There's some hidden costs with having a pool though. So what are those? Number one, pools can be expensive to install, right? In Texas, pools used to cost $60,000 to put in. Now to put in a pool, especially in the Austin area, is gonna run you $150,000 for a basic pool. So that cost is pretty substantial. Now, if you were to put in a pool right away, not enjoy it, and prices of homes haven't appreciated, in most markets, it might end up costing you money where you actually lose the price of that pool. The other problem here in Austin, Texas, recently, we had curing cancer or concrete cancer. And so we had a lot of pools that had really bad concrete and actually had to get ripped out and put back in. So it's better for you to buy a house with a pool than for you to buy a house and then put in a pool. How about that? All right, what are your thoughts on putting in a pool? Tell me in the comment section. removing bedrooms from your home. Now, look, that media center or that game room might be your dream, but buyers are looking for bedrooms, not your Peloton setup. Bedrooms are a major factor in a home's value, and sacrificing one for a specialty space can significantly reduce your buyer pool. Here's an example. If you take a 4-bedroom home and you make a media room or you make an office out of it instead of a bedroom, what that'll do is make your home invisible to buyers that are looking for a 4-bedroom home. Because here's what happens. Most buyers set up their home search based on size and bedroom count. And if your bedroom count doesn't match that, you actually have reduced your buyer pool. So reducing that bedroom could reduce the amount of money you make on your home. Barn doors, shiplap, and extravagant tile can make your house look almost outdated. So when we think about some of the updates we do to our home, don't do today's trends because today's trends can come outdated next year. And guess what? A buyer doesn't want to move into a home that they're going to have to immediately start updating. They want that timeless feel. They want those neutral colors. I mean, I can't tell you how many clients I work with that look at a home that was built in 2004, 2005 that had all those tan colors, right? That had all those dark brown cabinets, and now they want to spend money to rip that out. That's 20 years ago now, almost. Oh my God, it's been 20 years. Maybe stay away from the trends. What do you think about doing crazy trends? And what are some of the crazy trends that you have seen people do? This next one's actually very similar to that last one, and that is don't over improve your home. So, luxury bathrooms, luxury kitchens, luxury living looks fantastic, but if you are going to do all the luxury living in a neighborhood that it's a $400,000, $500,000 home, you might not get your money back out of that. I work with high-end clients that will walk into a home that's been masterfully updated and absolutely beautifully done, and they've put Carrera marble in, they've put in high-end finishes, and then they don't get the money back when they go to sell it. In fact, I have buyer clients, we've walked into some of these over improved homes and they're like, yeah, I don't like this. I'm gonna have to take that out. I'm gonna take that out. So I would go with whatever's more neutral and something where if somebody wants to over improve it themselves, they can. But you spending the money to over improve it could actually reduce the amount of money you get on it. I mean, I love the shower, but this neighborhood that we're in, the 78704, it's a revitalizing neighborhood. So stuff like this is selling at a premium. And yet this home we're sitting in has been sitting on the market a while. Okay, let's talk about your front and your backyard. Over landscaping a home can actually cost you a ton of money. I've seen projects where people have put in $100,000 backyards to turn around and get none of that back. So examples of that would be if you put in like a super expensive kitchen in the backyard. Think about this, for every $10,000 you spend on the backyard, you maybe only get about $3,000 in return. The reality is if you do a crazy backyard and over update the backyard, the reality is you're not gonna get your money back on that, just like a lot of the things on this list. You would think the next one on this list would be a no-brainer, but wall-to-wall carpeting. Now, what's interesting is I've seen homes that need upgraded floors, right? Either the carpet or the floors just need to be repaired. And so we have clients that'll go through and just put wall-to-wall carpeting. So you put in all this carpeting and then the next buyer comes in and goes, man, I love the fact that they put in $15,000 of new carpeting in this home, but I'm gonna have to tear all this carpeting out to put in hardwood floors or put a different upgrade in because let's be honest, carpeting floors are out. Now look, if you have a family and you have toddlers, it totally makes sense that you put carpeting in your home. Design aspect, if you go wall-to-wall carpeting in all of your house, you're probably not gonna get your money back on that. In fact, the reality is that it's actually gonna reduce your buyer pool because the buyers are gonna go, God, I'm gonna have to spend. Now, alternatively, there are affordable options. There's LVP, there's other options that are a little bit more affordable. Maybe you only leave carpet in the bedrooms and you do a more affordable wood option. That'll actually help raise the value of your home. When I walk into a meeting with a client, I usually say, hey, look, we're gonna talk about some of the updates we're gonna do in your home that are cost effective. So we're not going to go just tell a client to spend $10, $15, $20,000 updating a home to get their money back, but we also don't want them to spend money to not get that money back. And if you spend a ton of money updating your house without consulting a realtor or somebody who's privy to what's happening in the market, it could end up costing you a lot of money. And carpeting or super high-end wood flooring could be one of those things. Now, everybody wants to be green and energy efficient, but some of these green energy efficient things can cost you a lot of money. So let's talk about one thing. When I come to a home where a home needs a new HVAC, it needs a new water heater, needs some of these systems, overdoing it with too high of a steer or overdoing it with the water heater could end up costing you money. Those things are hard for buyers to see, so they don't really put the same value in it. Is it nice that these things have been done? Yes. In fact, if they haven't been done and they come up in an inspection report, the buyer may ask for those things to be repaired on the amendment, depending on what state you're in and how that works. So look, replacing these things is important. But here's where some buyers get in a lot of trouble, or homeowners get in a lot of trouble, is they'll come in and their windows need to be replaced. And they put in super high-end energy efficient windows that again look nice. The buyer sees and goes, that's nice. I'm glad these are energy efficient. And I get this like all the time, like, well, you need to explain to the buyer how energy efficient is and how much money they're going to save. And look, put yourself in a buyer's shoes. When you walk into a home, you are going to imagine yourself living in that home, doing all the things as a family in that home, entertaining in that home. Those are the things you're thinking about. You're not thinking about the energy efficiency on a window. So no matter how much realtors try to sell solar, try to sell the energy efficiency of the windows, those costs you may not get back, especially like if you're doing an upgrade. I can't tell you how many times I've seen people do flips and they don't touch the windows. And I thought, why wouldn't they touch the windows? That would have added value. The reality is no. They would have spent $40,000 updating that and not gotten any out of it. Sometimes when they overdo the roofs as well, right? So you do a more energy efficient roof, maybe you do like a metal roof. Those things all look nice, but if you're not gonna hold on to that home over time and let those things appreciate, you're not gonna get the money back. So be careful on the energy efficient things that you put in the home. Windows being one, HVAC, water heaters, all of those things, because yes, they look good on paper. And yes, the salesperson is going to tell you how much money you're saving, but they may not make you money when you go to sell. Okay, so far we've talked about all the things that you've done to upgrade your house that could cost you money if you overdo them. But let's talk about some of the things that cost money when they go to sell a home, because I could make a whole other video on this, but I think I just want to give you some tips right here. Number one, overpricing your home could cost you a lot of money. And now you think, the mentality I've had clients think is if we price it here, some crazy California buyer will come pay cash for it. The reality is that cash buyers are smart and they're not going to overpay for a home, just like you don't want to overpay for a home. So don't assume a cash buyer is just going to overpay for a home. In fact, over listing your home could make buyers not even want to come see it. This is a huge problem. In fact, I've had homes that we've overpriced and no one's come to see it. And then it sits on the market, gets stale, and then ends up ultimately not selling at all. Okay, let's talk about the number two on the list would be curb appeal. So if you have not done the landscaping, if you have not gone through and power washed the front of the home, made the front appealing, it's the first thing that a buyer is going to see is the front of the home. And if you have a lot of, neglected maintenance on the home, if you haven't cleaned up the yard, it is going to be a turnoff for buyers. And again, they're going to start reducing the cost of that home in their mind before they've even stepped in the home. The next on the list is not decluttering or not depersonalizing. Now, I meet with sellers all the time, and when we first meet, we actually do what's called a staging consultation. And we actually walk through the home and talk about what we need to take out and what we need to do to make the home feel bigger. Because look, if you're a buyer walking into a home, right, and you're a starter buyer looking at 1,800 square foot, for example, you want that home to look as big as possible. If you have big bulky furniture in there, if you have photos all over the wall of you and your family, it's going to detract from the actual home itself. So depersonalizing it and getting it as minimal as possible is actually the best step for you. Now, a lot of these things we meet with our clients with. If you are looking outside of the Austin area, and let's say you're looking anywhere in the country and you're watching this video and you need a good agent to help you list your home, definitely reach out to us. We can put you in contact. I have 6,000 agents that I've built in my network of agents. So I have lots of good referral partners around the country. If you're an agent watching this and you want to be one of our referral partners, actually reach out as well. Okay. Skipping minor repairs. This is one of the things I think can cost a home a lot of money. So I had recently a home that listed, and the back of the home had a lot of water damage. They didn't put gutters on the back of the home. So it happens you had a lot of wood rot, and then they didn't want to repair it. All of those little things, those little minor maintenance things that you haven't done on your home could cost you money. Not replacing the air filter every, what is it, 3 to 6 months, depending on what your air filter is. It could hurt the system. Things like that are super minor, you don't even think about. Okay, having minor repairs, like the house we're in right now, it looks absolutely beautiful, but you can tell some people have nicked the walls. And so I would make somebody come back and do some touch-up paint. Touch-up painting goes a long way when it's done correctly. Touch-up painting done the wrong way, where you have big blotches on the wall, and sometimes you might have to re-roll a whole wall, will actually help you out a lot more. So don't let those minor things go by the wayside. Walk through with your agent and look at the minor things you need to repair. Yes, it's going to nickel and dime and cost you maybe a couple $1,000s to do, but that couple $1,000s could save you a lot of money when you're actually trying to sell. All right, the last on my list is hiring the wrong realtor. Price, condition, location are the three things that hurt you. Number four is hiring the wrong realtor. If you hire a realtor that goes, nope, this house is absolutely perfect, don't touch anything in the yard or anything, that might be the wrong realtor for you. If you hire a realtor who's not going to do video, do content around your home, who's just going to put it on the MLS, that could hurt you. I would ask a few questions. What's your negotiating style like? What do you recommend to depersonalize my home? What are some of the things that you've done to get homes sold in the past? In fact, down in the description, I'll put together a list of questions you should ask a realtor before you list. And that's not just talking about me here in the Austin area. If you are looking in the Austin area to sell, I'd love to help you. But if you're not and you're looking around the country, again, I can get you a good agent referral. And on top of that, I'm gonna put the list of questions down below. Jeremy Knight, your favorite Austin realtor. What'd you think about this video? Did these tips help? Are we going to see you here in the Austin area soon? Are you going to be leaving? Whatever. Drop a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And oh yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and share, because the camera guy works really hard to edit these videos.